right? From the Native Americans, they was gave Black Wall Street. If you go look up Black Wall Street, all of that land, all of the millionaire, the little girl that became a millionaire, she got that for the Native Americans that were slave owners. They gave them that land. The second one was Liberia. If you go look in Liberia, everybody after the end of Civil War, they could go to Liberia if they wanted to, free transportation back to their own land. Boom. The third one is South Carolina. South Carolina was free land. It's where the Geechees used to be at. It was absolutely free. They was just like the Native Americans. They did not have to pay taxes. They did not have to participate in the United States. They didn't even have to get a social security number. They was free to do whatever they wanted to do. That was your reparation.
What?
Period.
Now what? Now what? Black Wall Street got burned down. What the fuck are you talking about? They burned that shit. They burned that shit. Like what?
They was Native. Listen,
Democrats.
Black Wall Street was Native Americans, and it is something to say that it was Native Americans that did it because they was pissed off that they took their land. So they haven't even said like actually who did it. So you guys go read half of something and then make your own narrative up of it.
Just blame the indigenous people for burning down Black Wall Street.
They gave
what the fuck is happening?
They had
go look it up. All you have to do is look it up. All you have to do is look it up. You will see that is native. The United States made Native Americans give up their land to their slaves. The Native Americans that had slaves had to pay them back in land. Okay? So
but it wasn't the Native Americans
that Black Wall Street was burned down by the indigenous people of America. That's what you're telling me right now.
If you actually go there, you will see that they had also Native Americans down the street had also burned up other neighborhoods. Because they was pissed off that the little girl, what ended up happening, it's a little girl, right? She ended up getting oil, right? She struck oil off the land.
I'm not even a Democrat, but whatever the fuck you were talking about is wild, bro. I'm out. I can't.
Hold on, she's actually right. She is right. It's called the five civilized tribes.
Haters get mad at the truth.
History between blacks and Native Americans. And this is talking about that the tensions in the Tulsa race massacre did not begin in 1921. It talks about the history of the so-called Indian removal of Native Americans living east of the Mississippi, including what was called the five civilized tribe that refers to the Cherokee, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Creek, and Muskogee and Seminole. And it talks about the number of people made this trek along the Trail of Tears, and it talks about how that land was forcibly removed and forced to relocate in the allotted land to cultivate along with their former slaves. So there might, and there's actually, it looks like there's a couple of YouTube videos where there's a professor that's actually talking about the massacre and what actually happened. So,
and they was all at war at that time. All of the natives with them, even because the black people used to have to shoot them off because they was all at war at that particular time, right? So when they said that I'm not saying that it wasn't. I'm just saying it's a possibility that it could have been Native Americans that did that because they was all at war at the same time, right? And it was another community that the actual black little girl that became a millionaire, the Native Americans is the one that killed off her mother and her father. So she became an orphan.
Hang on, Pinky. Hey, Moon, can you turn your camera on and turn it back off? It's low. It's still low.
Wait a minute. I just now realized something.
Everything about the Tulsa race massacre, which is the burning down of Black Wall Street, had to do with white and blacks over somebody being accused of raping a woman in an elevator, and he was scheduled to be lynched that night, and that's how it all went down. It was white protesters and black civilians.
That was what. That was
That
what.
land was given to them. That land was given to them by the Native Americans, right?
This is 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre. I'm reading like 16 different articles about the same thing,
Okay,
all
you can
saying the
read
same thing.
articles, but you
It
have
had
to
nothing
know
to do with
You have
Native Americans.
Yeah, it does. There's also another article. Yeah, it talks about a woman who was actually looking into her history. It talks about her ancestors were in Oklahoma, once enslaved by natives. It says nearly a century before the Tulsa Greenwood district became a beacon of black prosperity in the 1920s, Native American tribes, I named those already, were forced out of their homelands into the deep south. It also says that owning slaves was part of their strategy to assimilate into American history, and it was allowed them to see as a different perspective from other natives as more civilized. Now, this woman tells her story of how Oklahoma became a melting pot in the decades of racial tensions that preceded the Tulsa Race Massacre in her book. It says that the 1921 massacre was only a portion of the complicated history of black, native, and white people in Oklahoma. So it does go on to say that yeah.
Well, I don't know what she was saying in her book, but it like every piece of information I pulled up says Tulsa Race Massacre, also known as the Tulsa Race Riot or the Black Wall Street Massacre, was a 2-day-long white supremacist terrorist massacre that took place between May 31st and June 1st, 1921.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I do believe that there may be some truth to what she's saying, especially if there's been racial tension between those three groups of people, which we've known that does happen today, like being an indigenous American. I'm too damn.
I understand what you're saying, but the evidence does not support what you're saying.
It does. You just need to stop talking about race.
We'll also find that there is information that also says that they don't know who did it.
Bro, are you calling your articles evidence, bro?
Black people. I'm just saying, there may be some truth to what she's saying, and it looks like that could be a possibility. So,
Right.
It's more like it's more of improbability, but at the same time, yeah, I'm not gonna say it's not possible, but I will say it's more improbable than anything. But at the same time,
reason why they kept,
So then what is probable in your
This
opinion,
is the
then?
basis why they keep saying that it was Caucasian people because of the helicopters, right?
Like, and not even just the helicopter. There was like, I think they said, was it like an attack helicopter? Was it like attack jets at the time?
They said that it was because the sharecroppers in the military.
This is the whole timeline right here.
Had planes at the time, right? The sharecroppers, which was white people, and the military was the only people that had airplanes at this time. So that's why they gathered that it was Caucasian people that did it, because they said they seen things ringing from the fire. But if you look at how Indians or Native Americans fight, they were throwing arrows. So the arrows could look just like planes, something coming from out of the sky. It could be the same thing. I'm not saying that it was Native Americans, and I'm not saying that it was Indians. I mean that it was Caucasian people. But what I'm saying is it's a possibility because of all of the fighting that was going on at that time, that it could have been Native Americans. And I feel like they had reasons to do it because their land was taken. And at that time, that's when oil was found on their land. And that was millions of dollars. That made a little black girl a millionaire.
I hear what you're saying, but I need to see evidence. Because you just saying something's true doesn't make it true.
Well, why do you have evidence of your articles? So what you believe?
I just did. I just showed evidence on my camera.
All right, and what is that evidence? An article?
Everything from history.com, Britannica.com. I mean, this is actual history.
I mean, the problem that we have is that there's just evil. And evil is evil, and it doesn't matter what kind of label you put on it. It doesn't matter. There's 1% of people who are way far left, 1% who are way far right, and then I say the 98% of us are in the middle, whether we're a little bit right or left. And those two extreme sides, they play everybody. And we have people who are in government who don't represent anybody, whether they be Republicans or Democrats. They don't represent anybody. And that's partly our fault because we're not voting in people who are going to be advocates for us. We need to pick people not because they look like us, not because their skin color is the same, but we need to realize, what's really important to us. And when we go all the way back to even slavery, as far as Black people, the things that were important to us, even coming out of slavery, were God, our family, and our country. Those things were important to us coming out of slavery. Once we got away from that and we started looking at, self-interest and things like that and
Personal gain.
and personal gain and stuff like that. And once we started dismantling the nuclear family, that's when the issues start coming in. And I see a lot of Black people who are down there in the comments wanting to blame, white people for the issues, but it wasn't white people who told Black women not to marry their men. It wasn't white people who told Black women to kill their babies. Black people made all those decisions on their own. And the reason why the Black population has been stagnant is because the most dangerous place for a Black child is in his mother's womb. That's it. So we've been stagnant because we had a racist white woman tell Black women that it's your body, your choice. You can make the decision with your body. You should be able to kill off your little Black baby. And that was her plan all to begin with. And they went ahead and went with that. We had white people who own hip hop, and they own the image of hip hop. So now we got Black people saying, well, this is what I got to live up to. So guess what? That's what they go towards. They don't make any decisions on their own. There's no accountability, and it's just ridiculous. People need to take accountability for their own actions. You can make any kind of decision that you want to make, but you can't decide the consequences. And all these are the consequences of decisions that were made. So stop getting mad about it. Just
That's just like people when they bring up
make good choices. Save your babies, right? Be there for your family, your kinfolk, right? Be there.
Speaking of kinfolk, I do want to say this too, especially when it comes down to this racial division or whatever. And for folks that want to come after, folks that look like them just because they have a different opinion, I want you to understand something. Skin folk don't make us kinfolk. Mind folk make us kinfolk. If you have a good mind and a good head on your shoulders, and we think on the same level, then you know what? You can eat at my table. Doesn't matter what you look like. It all matters how you think and how you bring yourself up. And for people that would try to tell me differently, like, oh, you really shouldn't be dating this white woman or blah, 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 or whatever kind of crap like that. Can I tell you something? I have gotten flagged for the last, let's say, 12 years because people don't like the fact that my children are biracial. First of all, and I've told them before that I'm a biracial. I'm biracial.
Every man of color. Okay, so even the most darkly complected melanated man has at least a third of white in them. That's the most darkly melanated man.
A third.
So
there is.
So even if you're lighter skinned, right, you probably got more, right? So this is the funny thing is dude, we're people. We're people, all right? Melanin is just your body's defense against UVA and UVB rays, right? And if you were to live in somewhere like Greenland or Scotland where there's a lot less sun, your body would start to produce less and less melanin. Why? Because melanin is your body's protection of too much UVA, too much UVB, right? So if you lived in an area where there was a lot less sun, your body would tone down melanin production, and over time would get gradually lighter. Why? Because you need more vitamin D, and because the sun don't shine that much there, you become lighter and lighter so that your body can let more UVA and UVB in. You become more absorbent. So that's all light skin is. Dark skin is your...
too?
Go ahead.
So really quick, I'm sorry, just 1 second. I want Pinky to tell us about what she's got here. I put her in the big box so she can. I saw her scrolling.
Okay, so this is one of the little girls that became a millionaire, right? So she became a millionaire because of the land that the Native Americans had to give to her family. So she was awarded 160 acres from the Cherokee Indian land, right? And So eventually the Native Americans, they end up fighting her father, and they killed her father and her mother. And then she was adopted by a white person that they end up taking her oil and all that stuff. But still, this is how black people receive reparation. They was awarded land. So if your slave owners was Native Americans, they had to give black people land. So this is how black people got reparations.
Not only that, when people were given that land, even from the white people that, like, say if they had slaves and that slave owner or whoever it was died or whatever the case may be, that land became theirs for them to learn, like to earn and grow and do whatever they want to do with it. Almost, I'm not going to throw out numbers because I can't remember the number that I read, but a good portion of those people who had that land sold that land to white people and moved up north so that they could live in that kind of a climate instead of working the land, growing the land, producing stuff from the land. They left it for nothing, essentially. They literally moved from off the land that they were gifted or either inherited or whatever the case may be to go to the north. So
Nanya, I'm just gonna say something real quick, Nanya, and then I'll default to you to talk, sir, because I see you got your hand up. I'm just gonna say something real quick. So here's the thing, like, I'm Latino, that's my heritage, and the more you look into your own heritage, here's the problem with pointing fingers and saying that somebody owes you something. You better make sure you have clean hands, right? Because in Latino culture, right, we tend to romanticize a lot of notions about the Aztecs, right? And let me tell you something, right? That's my heritage. And when I read about my heritage, let me tell you, man, the Aztecs were some fucked up motherfuckers, man. They did ritual sacrifice. They didn't try to kill their enemies. They tried to blunt force trauma their enemies over the head with a blunt object and knock them out so they can drag them to their temples of sacrifice, rip open their beating chest while they're alive, rip out their heart. On their temple mounts. That is what they did as a regular practice. And when Cortez showed up, Cortez was the main Spanish conquistador that's credited with taking down the Aztec Empire. When the conquistadors showed up, they only had about 200 men. And the only reason that he was able to take down an empire is because Cortez amassed and organized a mass of tribes surrounding the Aztecs that hated the Aztecs. They hated them because the Aztecs were known for taking people out of their tribes and sacrificing them. So the Aztecs had generated so much hate from the surrounding tribes that they were willing to unify and rally around some white folks to take down their common enemy. So Cortez had a force of over 3,000 natives from surrounding tribes, along with his 200 conquistadors. Right? So it was the power of organization and the hate that they had for the Aztecs. It took a period of 3 years to take down the Aztecs. So the next time you start talking about how your people, my people, all right, point out some time in history where your people didn't do some shit to some other people. All right? No one's got clean hands in this. And that's the thing that irritates me the most, is everybody wants to act like my people, my ancestors didn't do some fucked up shit. Everybody's done some fucked up shit, man.
Facts.
Go ahead, Nanya.
Thank you, sir. Good evening or good afternoon, everyone. It's nice to be here with you. Or actually, it's still morning. Shoot, sorry about that. At any rate,
Good morning.
I just have to point out something I noticed recently, and I mean, I think it's been basically touched on in numerous ways here, which is to say that we're all just people, but more than that, we're all just part of the game, right? So we can blame white people all we want. But I promise anyone here that would like to contend, I've played no role other than paying my taxes in anyone's oppression. I don't have an attitude that supplies that. I don't have thoughts. I've never voted in such a way because I never voted until 2020. So I've definitely not been a part of that, but I get mentioned a lot when people say white men, right? Just because I happen to be a white male. So if you look back, like, I don't know, when was Joe running for president before? Like 30, 40 years ago? And he got caught fluffing his resume and he had to step down from running. He got called out for lying and had to stop. He probably should have been put out of Congress at that point, but I guess the standards just weren't that high then. And that's a shame. The reason I bring that up is because now today we've got the president of Harvard making inflammatory statements. In Harvard, you can say that it's okay to genocide or geocide a certain type of person, but you can't use the wrong pronouns. she was just found to have plagiarized. This is the president of Harvard, one of the most prestigious learning facilities in the country. She was just found to have plagiarized her paper, her main thesis for graduation. Harvard stands completely behind her. So I just wonder how we're going to say old white men have privilege when this black lady just has Harvard's full support. That's disingenuous, it sounds like, but my point is we all play our role at the given time, right? So now that everybody's on this idea of white privilege, now we're flipping the script, and that's going to make everybody fight more because it's just going to cause more division. We're going to shift privilege tremendously, but we're still going to drive the old narrative even harder than we used to. And that's just going to create massive division. And that's what I'm hearing, when I'm down in the comments and when I was waiting. So it's really, to me, it's a lot about how we play our role at the time and how many of us don't mean to be complacent, but really have zero choice in the matter. I have to pay those taxes that are used to do things that I don't want done. I don't want other nations oppressed. I don't want my money sent to places it doesn't belong. But I haven't had much choice in that because I just want to survive here just like everyone else. And I just would like us all to remember that and that, I love everyone. Thank you.
So he said something about classism, and this is one of these things that I've just picked up on from watching people and just going through it myself. A lot of people, not just black people, but a lot of people, period, confuse racism with classism. Like there's so many, I'll use white people since they're the big bad guy in the scenario. There's so many white people that you can sit down at a table with, regardless of what skin color you are, and they'll look down on you simply because you don't make the money that they make or because you don't have the chance to help them make more money than they already have. And you think that it's out of the fact that you're black or because you're Asian or because whatever color you think you are. It's simply because you don't bring them any monetary value. And if you don't bring somebody who is already rich more monetary value to their life, they don't care about you. It has nothing to do with your skin color. It has everything to do with the fact that you're broke compared to them. And they don't want to associate themselves with someone who makes less than them. It has nothing to do with you being black or you being Asian or Mexican or none of that crap. I've literally sat at the table with rich people and they talk down to me because I didn't make $600,000 a year. It had nothing to do with me being black because we had the exact same interests. We loved the same football team. We loved the same things to do outside of just talking about money. But when it came to talking about money, I was non-existent because that's what they cared about more than anything else.
God, imagine not being able to make $600,000 a year. What a pleb, dude. Get your shit up, bro.
Yes, it's interesting. They always talk about white privilege, but they never want to talk about black entitlement. Black people feel entitled to claim victimhood, claim oppression. They feel entitled to claim all those negative things, but I mean, I know a bunch of black millionaires. I go play golf with them. I know white millionaires. It's a different thing, and we literally live in a society where if you have a smart device, you can become a millionaire, in a few days, almost instantly. So I don't understand how people are still complaining about their situations when they have the power to change those situations. When they could be learning, when they could be reading, there are great economists out there who give you the cheat code. Like me, I read a lot of Thomas Sowell and stuff like that, and I look at the stuff that he says and Robert Kiyosaki, and these guys give you the cheat code, but because people like Thomas Sowell are looked at as a coon and they sell out and stuff, they don't want to listen. But I mean, history repeats itself, and They would always say if you want to keep something from Negroes, put it in the book, and that's even more true today than it was back then. And I just think that it's kind of ridiculous, with all the excuses and stuff, because it's 2023. Literally you can become anything you want, you can do anything you want.
It's all about the effort you're willing to put into it.
It is. But we've been programmed so long, though. Like all of us, and in different ways, right? Like it's for the same reason that those people don't break out of the box that has them held down is the same reason that a white liberal thinks you don't know how to get an ID or use a computer. Yeah, it's programming. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're not gonna get rich working for somebody else. You gotta have your own. You gotta create. You're not gonna get rich punching the clock. It's not gonna happen.
Really quickly. Hey, y'all woke? My guy, you don't have camera access. So for some reason, there's a TikTok glitch which won't allow you to turn your camera on. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to drop you. You got to go get camera access before you can come up. It's not me, it's TikTok. Okay. I don't know what the reason is. Again, if you're going to request in the box, when you come in, just go ahead and turn your camera on, turn it back off. You can leave it on if you want to. It's not a requirement.
Calm down, boo.
So go ahead, Pinky. Go ahead and cook, Queen.
Laughing hard in the world.
I'm gonna drop down and make room. Thank you.
Appreciate you. Thanks for coming up.
I just want to know where my white privilege, because I ain't never had none of that.
Are you subscribed to the newsletter?
Well, you go to Appalachia, see a whole lot of people without white privilege and look just like him.
You got to subscribe to the newsletter. We just got our letter jackets like 3 weeks ago.
Hey, what's the minimum requirement to turn your camera on? I mean, to have camera access?
Somebody told me
It
it's
all
like
depends.
800 now or 700 now, or I think your account.
Well, it's supposed to be 1,000.
Like
it's supposed to be 1,000.
A certain amount old as well. At least.
Well, no, okay. So the way to turn your camera on, you're supposed to have 1,000 followers according to TikTok's TOS. I got live access where I could host my own live to turn my camera on at 800 followers because I got labeled a content creator because I'm a sponsored live streamer on Twitch and all that stuff, and I do video games. So I got content creator access.
Why don't you just flex on us, Crow?
Okay, the two that just came in, if I can't send you a request to turn your camera on, so I'm gonna have to drop you. I'm sorry.
Listen, hang on.
I guess that's my white privilege. I got TikTok access early for lives.
Pinky, go ahead. I'm sorry. Pinky wanted to show us something, so go ahead and let her do that. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Pinky.
I wanted to show that like we don't have clean hands. Because when we went to Liberia, the free slaves, that when they went to Liberia, they went over there and did the same thing that white people did over here. They went over there and enslaved black people. They colonized black people that was already there. So it's like, and then a lot of people don't even know about South Carolina. Like South Carolina is just like Native American. If you go over there, it still looks like Africa. Back in the days.
Thomas Ellison, that was a savage man.
Like, so it's like it's like we have reparations, right? It's just some of our parents didn't do what we supposed to have done with the money. I mean, like I tell people now, if your granddaddy isn't giving you money now, why do you think they was going to be able to keep the money then? It's like a lot
it's like
of
a poverty
African-Americans
mindset,
are just
right?
freaking bad with money. They just are. They go buy tennis shoes instead of buying a house. I mean, some people have nice cars and no house.
Now,
so
let me
like this.
Let me say
their own houses and both of them
rich
in the military. So.
There are people who are born in privilege, right, and they squander away their inheritance because they have a poverty mindset. They never learned or cared to know how money works, right? So there are rich, privileged people who have been born with the silver spoon up their ass who squander away their family's inheritance or whatever within a generation, right? So that's what
it's called an affluent mindset.
Right, so it's a poverty mindset. If you don't know how money works, there are people who own jets who are in default to those jets and those things. You ever watch Repo Men? There are some people that repo jets because millionaires can't pay their bills, right? There are people that are millionaires on paper in the sense that they have assets and some of their assets in default. Right? So some people are not as rich as they think they are. Some people are not in a good place on their balance sheet. So that's what I'm saying. It's all about mindset. If you get a poverty mindset, you don't understand how money works, no amount of money in the world is going to put you in a good place. You'll lose that shit.
And I just feel like I like when I see African Americans calling out bullshit, because some white people can't do it because they be like, oh, it's our space, it's our this, it's our that. Like at the end of the day, man, all of us was born into this world by ourselves. You're gonna have to figure out how to get your money, get your stuff straight, get yourself in a position where you can use the tools that's created here for us in 2023. I'm not living in the 60s with my mom. I'm not gonna live in the 20s with my great grandmother. I'm not living in those days. So yes, they had other struggles that I probably don't have, but I cannot, I can't hold myself accountable for. Hold on. I can't
I
hold
do consider
myself
myself an equal opportunity offender.
Yeah, I can't hold myself to the same standards. That's insulting to say that we need reparations off the backs of somebody else. I don't even want it because whatever they went through, they had to go through. And I don't feel like nobody can pay me for that. Like you can't pay nobody for slavery. You can't pay nobody for that. It is what it is. We learn from it. Let's move on.
Right, and this is what I was going to address before what's his face dropped. To answer his question, right? When we make a mistake, can we go back and necessarily change the past? We can't. All we can do. So history is only good for one thing. History is good for looking back and saying, "Oh shit, that probably was not the best idea. Maybe we shouldn't do that shit again." Right? That's all history is good for. If you're looking back in history for anything else, meaning to not learn, right? Like if you're not learning some lesson, like maybe we shouldn't repeat that shit, and you're just looking back in history, you're looking at history just to torture yourself at that point. Like, oh, things are unfair. That's you just wanting to wallow in misery. The only reason to look at history is so that you can learn something to not do it again, right? Now, and so that's my point that I was going to make with what's his name. When we make mistakes or we do something that wasn't that good, we try to fix where we are now so that we do better moving forward, right? That's what we try to do. And I think that's what we ought to do. And I think things are changing. We're starting to see more accountability. We're starting to see people become more conscientious. And things are going to get better. But you can't just, Gandhi once said, and I know a lot of people say some messed up things about Gandhi. I've heard some things about him. But he did say something that was based. He said that goodness travels at a snail's pace, right? It is very easy to destroy, right? It's harder to create.
Can you let him know that glass next time you can't throw that in there? My bad, bro.
Can I say something? Are you finished, Tony?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Tony just said, okay, this is a classic. I mean, it's classic. Brothers on the panel, y'all know what I'm talking about. White people over the last 500-600 years have stolen wealth through, and also stolen wealth through violence, put in through laws. And now that they have all the wealth and influence, they want to tell black people to stand down. The reason why they're saying that is they want to keep it going, keep the gravy train going. Because if you notice, all of them, everybody white on the panel says, let's just forget about it. Let's get hugs on Thursday.
Who do you think is white on the panel? Who do you think is white on the panel?
Black people are saying we need a Marshall Plan. We need money in our pockets
I don't think white on the panel
in order to survive in this society.
You don't think it's white on the panel? I want to know who you're just flinging shit at. Who do you think is white on the panel?
I am talking white society. They were quiet when y'all were arguing over reparations. Because white society does not want to share.
White society. Where's my wealth at? I'm not wealthy. I'm dirt ass poor. I live in a ghetto. What the fuck you talking about?
You notice that? Every one of them. You own all the sports franchises. You own all the hospitals.
You can't paint everybody the broad brush, dude, because we don't all own shit.
All of y'all are poor.
Spencer, what do you have to say about the black boule?
The majority of white people
I don't even know what the hell white society is, and I don't know who you're talking about.
And when you're talking about,
Spencer, what do you have to say about the black boule?
It's at about 5%.
What do you have to say about the black boule?
What I got to say about the 87% of the nation's wealth.
What do you have to say about the black boule?
Let me ask him a question.
What do you have to say about the black boule?
Can I ask you a question?
You talking to me?
Yes. What have black people, other than Black Wall Street, something that was given to them, what have black people created? Because every single thing that you just said, white people created it. White people created basketball. Why wouldn't they not be the owner of some shit they created? Create some shit yourself, and then we'll see you move up in life. You always trying to take from somebody else, but you don't want to create nothing.
Are you Black American?
Yes. I'm black. I'm black. I'm black. It doesn't matter about anything else. I am black.
And this is what MOD was saying earlier. She was saying, you baby boomer people, or you believe in that stuff, and y'all all gave it away. With that kind of thought process, We're gonna continue to give it away. We
I'm
have
40 boomer though, bro. We're the same.
I'm 41. Basketball championship called
What do you have to say about the black boule?
I ain't no baby boomer either.
At the Negro League.
Not a baby boomer.
It was all black.
Hold on. Wait,
all that away.
Gen X. Gen X all day, man. Gen X.
We are almost damn near the same fucking age. Who are you calling a boomer, bro?
Not you.
I ain't no boomer.
Hold on, wait a minute.
And I know what you stand for.
Who do you think she is?
Well, she shouldn't have that mindset. I thought she was about 50 or 60.
No.
Who are you to tell her what her mindset should be or should not be?
I mean, he's looking at my pictures and he think I hope I don't.
Because
superiority complex. You trying to control somebody else's mindset.
Because nobody black in their right mind.
Wait. Can I have a moment?
You got the same problem.
What a hateful, racist thing to say.
No, it's not. White people own everything. That's not racist, huh?
Spencer, be quiet. Go ahead.
Why don't you go research the black boule, brother?
Spencer, can black people, are they capable of being racist?
No.
No? Okay. So if a black person, right, walks up to a white person,
I don't want to hear you
on the basis of their
that's a different side of the coin. I'm not talking about that.
Cool. If I can finish, if I can finish my question. If a black person walks up to a white person simply on the basis of their skin and unalives them, if it's not racism, what do we call it? If it's not a hate crime, what do we call it? I would venture to say that much like Global the other day would say, is that they had it coming because of years of oppression and all this other stuff. Is that what you would say?
I think it's public school.
Brother.
It has to be public school. I mean, for somebody to just come up in life thinking that they're like not. I mean, I don't know. I don't even think my dad them think like that.
He's oppressed in his mind. That's all it is. And those are easy for white liberals to deal with. They love things like that.
What was Global?
I mean, to just think that somebody is oppressing you just because of the color of your skin.
Right? What did he call it?
Hey, Spencer. Spencer, tell me who the white person is that's oppressing you, bro, and I'll help you out.
Retaliation. He said retaliation.
He said it was retaliation.
Spencer, tell me who the white person is that's oppressing you. Show me the white person that's oppressing you.
That's so.
Dude, he literally said that all the white people own all the wealth, and I'm trying to figure out like where's my wealth at? Because I'm broke as shit.
Where they at? What do they look like? What do they look like? What is oppressive?
Never see an alpha male think like that. An alpha male could not even think that somebody else control him like that. Like that is so unattractive. That's just so ugh.
Because he's Spencer, are you raised by a single mother?
Probably.
Dude, let me explain how poor I am, okay? Me and my wife, we live on a month-to-month basis of $3,000 or less every single month.
Yeah, he's not talking about you. He's not talking about you.
Anybody say anything else?
No, I'm saying, but that's how poor I am as a white person. He's saying that, like white people own all the wealth, but I don't own shit.
He said
I don't own my own house. I rent.
He said they own 87% of the wealth.
You and your wife both live off $3K, is what you're saying, right? I'm a black man. I make $6,200 by myself. So where's his white privilege at?
I'm on disability. My wife's on disability. I'm disabled.
I'm disabled from the military. So that's what I'm asking Spencer.
Thank you for your service, man. Appreciate it. I really do.
He's white and he make less than me. So where's his white privilege? That's what I want to know.
I just want to know what he calls black on white violence on the basis of skin color. If it's not
a hate crime, just like the reverse will be a hate crime.
I wouldn't worry about it because people like that, they don't have any arguments with anything else, so they always fall back in the race. They play identity politics because that's the mantra for the Democratic Party, because they can't stand on any kind of principles or anything, so they fall in the race and separation and division.
And I have a white brother-in-law, and I always have to finance stuff for them.
My family,
Spencer.
Spencer. You can unmute your mic, bro.
Yeah, my family own white people. We own black people. We own Mexicans. We own Native Americans. And guess what? I'm not paying reparations to anybody for any of that. I'm not paying for nothing.
Spencer.
I mean, I'd be like, dang, dude, you need this white privilege because
I'm not paying
you
nothing.
have to use my credit for your guys' stuff.
Dude, I live in a majority Puerto Rican and black neighborhood, and it's always peaceful here. People are always really nice. You know, people mind their own business and they get along.
That's the majority of people, man. The majority of people get along, but like I said, there's people who are on the far left and who are on the far right, and those are the people who are playing tug of war with everybody else. Everybody else is in the middle, and we're
these people only exist in TikTok. I have never seen these type of people in real life. In real life, I have never seen these type of people, and it's like I go into stores and be like, "Is you one of those?" You know.
And I've asked people for examples. Never find them
in real life.
And I've asked people for examples. So me, I grew up as a military brat. My dad's final duty station was up in Alaska, and I was like one of 10 black people in my school that I went to. So I faced legit racism in those schools, and then I joined the military. When I joined the military, it's a melting pot. We had no issues with anybody. You know, we didn't see race, we didn't see color, any of that.
Oh yeah, you're equally worthless in the military.
Yeah, and then in the boom of social media and hatred for Donald Trump, all of a sudden, you know, all white people are racist. You have to be this, you have to be that. And for me, it's none of that for me. I'm a God-fearing, country-loving patriot. I love my country. I love God. I love my family. I don't care what color you are. We all bleed the same way. We all have an expiration date here on the earth. You know, we're going to be held accountable for how we treat people. And giving different names and isms and stuff like that to just evil is just ridiculous. And I think that we need to go back and just call evil for what it is. Evil is evil. Whether it's racism, whether it's sexism, any of that, it's just evil. So it's not a hard thing to be nice to somebody, be cordial to somebody. And I think it's ridiculous that we have these people who want to legislate tolerance and legislate being nice to people. I don't have to like anybody I don't want to. I don't have to tolerate anybody I don't want to. But on the other half of that, I don't have to be around anybody who doesn't like me. I don't have to be around anybody who doesn't tolerate me. You can make those decisions to be around whoever you want to be. Everybody wants to have an opinion. I think it's a little bit ridiculous, but again, social media gives everybody an opportunity to have an opinion. So everybody feels like their opinion is valid when it's not. So we need to go back to
you can have an opinion. That doesn't mean it's a valid one. Right?
Exactly.
Another thing.
Go ahead, babe.
Another thing is a lot of people they act like just because they make these laws and these different whatever they want to call them, like that stuff only matters whenever someone is caught doing it. Like you can make a law to say, hey, you can't do this or you can't say that. People still kill people out here. People still rob people. People still do everything that the law says not to do. The only thing that's going to stop that is decent, good, hardworking people all coming together and stopping it themselves. That's how it worked back then. That's how it's going to work now. That's how it's going to work in the future.
Yeah, there wasn't always cameras everywhere like there is now.
What he was saying about rap music, I really agree with that, because like my grandma used to say, like they used to handle stuff in the community. Like if somebody did something, the whole neighborhood would come out and get on people, hold people accountable. Now there's no snitching and all of this stuff. And you wonder why African Americans have the worst criminals.
I'm snitching. I ain't going
to. What is rap?
That's awesome.
I'm snitching.
Spencer, rap music has degraded the community. Rap music is degradation to the black community. Knock it off.
Well, let me get.
Not always.
Let me get a little
white music.
White liberals own that image. White
music
own the image of black hip hop. White
if you think about this though,
black hip hop image, so knock it off.
Hey,
white liberals own the black image for hip hop, so knock it off.
So hip hop came from jazz.
White liberals own the hip hop image, knock it off. That's why the black men like yourself are looking homosexual. That's why black women are half naked, because white liberals own that image.
Go ahead, Moon.
Okay, so that means white supremacy exists. Okay.
Go ahead, Moon.
And so does black entitlement.
Yeah. Hey, Spencer, do you have an answer for us?
Okay, I was done. Again?
Do you have an answer for us?
Give me the question again.
Yeah. So what do we call it when a person of color aggresses upon a white person simply on the basis of their skin? What's that called?
Something I wouldn't even think hard on.
You wouldn't think hard on it? Well, you said it's not racism because you said they're incapable of being racist. So what would we call it?
Let me address the wealth first and the resources, and then we'll get back to that later.
The resources? What resources you need to go to? What's the definition of racism? Discrimination or prejudice against one on the basis of the skin.
You, white daddy, you got to make sure he shares money. Okay, it's plain and simple. You got.
So are you not sharing money with your generation, Spencer?
You gotta stop letting them focus on that, because they flip it on you guys all the time, and you fall.
So why you not sharing your wealth with your children? How much money have you saved up for your kids? What kind of life insurance policies?
And I'm not playing the micro.
What kind of education plan do you have for your kids?
I'm talking about the American society.
There are 43 black-owned banks. There are 43 black-owned banks in the United States.
A million white-owned banks.
There are 43 black-owned banks. If you ever go to a white bank, Spencer, there are 43 black-owned banks that you can go to.
Stop worrying about
there are 43 black-owned banks that you can go to if you have a problem with white supremacy.
This is why they get it off.
How many black-owned banks have you gone to get your wealth?
So Spencer, if we understand that the largest consumer of hip hop music is white people, right? And they make these African American hip hop artists absolutely filthy rich, do you agree that they take that money and rather than investing back in their community in the form of, like, I don't know, opening a center or school for underprivileged kids in the inner communities or anything like that, instead they go spend $650,000 on a fucking jewelry piece and flaunt it in their next music video? Is that okay? Or like, would you rather them reinvest that in their communities?
You mean the same reinvestment that the music moguls who make money off of them, because they're the talent, they don't reinvest it back in our community. They take it to their community. How about that?
Dude, I got one word. I got one name for you.
That's not what I'm asking.
I know that's not what you're asking.
That's not what I'm asking.
I know that's not what you're asking.
Nipsey Hussle, bro.
You know who Nipsey Hussle was? Nipsey Hussle was a good guy. And I'm not even going to hold him for that. But I'm going to just say this. The amount of money that's in the rap game, NBA, I mean, LeBron James school, the fourth graders can't even freaking read. You know, not one of them passed a standardized test. So come on now. All of this money that these people got, there should be way better African-American ghetto communities. There should be none of us without housing if they so much care about the black community. So stop holding other communities responsible for our communities if we're not going to be responsible for our communities.
$46 billion annually that we pay in consumerism.
That's crazy.
But none of it is going to build
$1.2 trillion in spending power.
And how many? That's
why I bring up Nipsey Hussle.
How many times?
What do you mean?
How many times does the dollar go through the black community compared to other races?
Let me jump in here real quick. So
it's 6 hours.
This is why I bring. Dude, this is why I bring up Nipsey Hussle. Nipsey Hussle started to use his gains in the rap game to actually buy land, to buy businesses. He bought land. He bought storefront leasing. He bought property, and then he leased it out to other black people to be business owners. He leased them the property, the commercial property, so that they could have their business.
This is the problem.
Hold on. I'm just using this as an example to say that you can have these gains. You could have done something good. And Nipsey Hussle was proof of that.
What happened to him?
He got killed by his own people.
No. It's a deeper story than that. You gotta look it up.
It's not a deeper story.
There actually is more to it.
His own people unalived him.
He's been sabotaged. Our businesses are sabotaged by white society all across the country.
At the end of the day, there's a lot of money in the African American community.
They flood and burn our town. You guys gotta do some more reading.
So during the BLM riots, who was burning down black businesses?
They didn't burn down black businesses, from what I understand. Most of the white
did. During the BLM riots, who was burning down black businesses?
The black guy burned down the Wendy's. The black guy in Atlanta burned down the Wendy's.
Knock it off.
It was a white business inside of a black neighborhood. What's wrong with y'all?
Knock it off. Who owned that? Who ran that Wendy's?
Some white guy.
No, actually, it was a black owner.
No, it was a white guy.
So you're mad at the white Wendy's owner for providing jobs in the
So
inner
what
communities?
exactly
I'm
are you doing?
confused.
Nice hamburger
Spencer,
job.
what exactly are you doing for the
we
black
are
community?
happy with that.
Spencer, what exactly have you done for the black community?
Nothing.
How have you bettered the black community?
Nothing. Every time I try to, white men get in my way. They won't.
How?
We're not. I told you I'm not playing that personal attack. I'm talking about American society.
American society. So you're not American.
Society. Why are you protecting the bank?
What do you mean? Because the bank makes you money. What's wrong with you?
Obama protected the bank.
What's wrong with you?
Why did Obama protect the bank?
I'm not blue, baby.
What's wrong with you?
Why did? Oh, it doesn't matter if you're blue. You say black.
Obama didn't do anything for black society.
Why did he protect the bank?
Obama didn't do anything for black society. I agree with you there.
I'm asking you to ask Obama why did that black man protect the bank?
You thought I vote blue no matter who.
I don't care what you vote for. That's none of my business. That's between you and the Lord.
But
why you make that statement then?
What's funny is because people like you're like, oh, I don't vote Obama, but you just use all their talking points, right? You don't vote Democrat. You just use all their talking points. That's how it works. That's how it works. You just use every single.
At the end of the day, there's always going to be people like this on the internet, and sometimes these people are just here to just they want to spark up conversation, and that's good for her page.
I guarantee you, Spencer, you're one of those guys. You're one of those guys, Spencer. You're one of those guys where I would approach you. I would go to your side of the neighborhood and approach you and say, hey, you're one of those guys that I would approach you and I would say, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm taking these duplexes, I'm converting them to condos. So I'm gonna buy a whole duplex for $80,000, and I'm converting them to condos. I'm gonna sell each condo for $160. You're the one that be like, oh no, you're a sellout. I don't want to put in the work. You're one of those.
No, I'm not. But thanks for the analysis, but it's wrong.
Yeah, okay.
But
okay.
Gene,
So who are the white people
I see Big Girl America. She had said something about who put them in the ghetto. And it's like, yeah, they did put black people in one specific place, but they put Chinatown in one specific place too. Chinatown looks absolutely nothing like the ghetto.
And why
so
is
you
that?
cannot keep comparing.
Why is that? Why is
you
that?
cannot keep comparing people.
Because
why
they don't
is
live in
that?
the- you have
What
to
you
know
think? Because
something
they
what
take
you're
care of their
Big
neighborhood.
facts.
You don't understand how I got there.
They take care of their neighborhoods. Who gives
They
a
don't work
damn?
like that.
When you see
don't
grass
have no money for
that needs to be mowed, go mow the grass. If you
They
see trash need to get
they
picked
were
up, pick
given
up the goddamn
resources.
trash.
They were given resources.
So Spencer, how come you didn't? Spencer, how come you didn't invest in
African Americans were given the same resources, hands and feet. When you
So
make
Spencer,
hands and feet move, you do what you're
Spencer,
supposed to do. That's
Spencer,
it.
how come you didn't take advantage of the opportunity zones that under Trump?
Because I didn't want to.
That's your fault. Shut up.
Yes, it is.
That's your fault.
And you
That's
have
your
no
fault.
argument.
That's your fault. Shut
How
up.
are you going to say you want reparations
White folks are
and then
going
you
to
don't take
continue
opportunity?
to run roughshods over us because you guys protect their money. You guys,
I'm not protecting their money.
take
Protecting my money is I'm protecting their money. I'm protecting their money because I'm going to protect my money.
87% of the nation's wealth. People like you.
Take white people out of the scenario, then explain why all of these people who come from India own all of these gas stations. They own all of these hotel strips. They own all of these significant buildings that everyone in the country has to use, and they have generational wealth from here.
They're under the same program. And Gandhi mentioned
they're from a whole different country. They don't even speak
anti-black
English.
like a mug. Gandhi
And
don't anti-black like a mug.
and the thing about them, and I'm gonna tell you one thing about African American community.
And
They
the
work hard.
and the darker
They
skin
want to be the
Indians, they treat
Messiah.
them like
Every
crap.
one of them want to be the
I've been
Messiah.
there. You don't
None of them want to
understand
say,
nothing.
"Let's all do it together. Let's do it together. Let's
we do.
Let's
We
come
do.
together.
We do. Do
and
you know
grow
that?
together.
You know
Y'all don't want to do that. As soon as y'all get a group,
It's called B.
you
We
can
are
even
a
get a
group.
music
We
group
are a
together.
group. And you're outside
Which
the group.
music group that's still together right now? Which music group is still together? None of them.
I'm talking about being
It
on.
doesn't matter. Y'all can't work together. Y'all don't know how to work together. Y'all keep saying my community, but you be the first one to kill somebody that you have an
We
argument
are
with.
working together. But we're running in silence, baby.
Spencer, some of the wealthiest black people are African immigrants. What are you talking about? You want to talk about
Say
dark
again?
skin?
Big
Some
facts.
of the wealthiest black people are African immigrants. African immigrants. They're dark skinned. What the hell are you talking about? Those are some of the wealthiest black people.
They make up the
Have you been to
2% of the doctors that's African Americans.
Have I been?
You probably wouldn't even
Good.
have African American
I've been to-
doctors if
I've
Y'all
they
been to
got to
didn't
flip
fuck
the coin over. Y'all got to stop doing it. You don't think critically.
You got a very,
Okay,
you got a very
you talking
thick
about
accent too. Like
You're talking
Those
about
differences
2%
in two
here,
different countries, they go
2%
to
here.
the continent of
Where's the other 98%? They running in silent. They sitting there. They like this. They like this banter.
Let me ask you something. What
Guess
do you
what? The
want?
98% don't like anybody. What are
What do
you
you
talking
want?
about? And it's not
What
even
do
the
you want?
98%, up to 1%.
What do you
They
want?
don't like anybody.
When he finished babbling, then I'll tell you what I want. Okay, for American society to share in the resources, whatever that look
Bro,
like.
you
There's
the banana
reparations.
babble.
We
What
need
you
like a
talking about?
Marshall Plan. You heard the Marshall Plan?
No, I haven't heard of it.
Okay, we're looking for
But
Marshall
okay, so
Plan.
you
We need a
want
Marshall
America
Plan.
to share
It
their
sounds
wealth.
like you
That's
want
what you want.
communism, man. That's what it sounds like.
Yes, hear that white guy?
You
But I'm
flunk.
just saying
You
that's what
hold
you
on, while
You
you're
know
not.
why?
listen.
He's
Let me
You're that
protecting the
dude.
bank.
You're that dude
He's
that during the group
protecting the
project
bank.
in class, you never did the
Yeah.
work,
See,
and you let
y'all notice
everybody
that
else carry
Hey,
whenever you talk
Spencer.
about
because you all
money,
get the same
white
Tony
people
ain't
do that.
white, dude.
You're that
Tony
dude.
ain't white, so that's first of
I'm
all.
Okay,
white,
well,
bro.
he got their talking points, but he's
Talking
protecting.
points.
He's
What
one
the
of the ones
fuck are
protecting the
white
bank.
talking points? What
He's
is that
protecting the
shit?
bank. He's
I'm
protecting
talking
the
But
about
bank.
listen,
money.
so when you get
That's a
half,
talking
what are you
point,
gonna do
bro.
with it?
Money does
What are
not
you
know
gonna
no
do?
color except green.
Yeah, I bet it don't, but it seemed to filter to
All
one
right.
Let
side
me
of the
ask
fence.
you, what are
So
you gonna do when you get half? What are you gonna do with it?
I'm going to reinvest it like every other community. I'm going to build
Okay, but their
my
system
Chinatown.
is the only
He's a
system
consumer.
that you
He's
have
a
to
consumer. You ain't
invest
gonna
it
get
in. So
nothing. You're a
what are
I'm
you
consumer.
going
gonna
to build
create the
my
system
You're a
Koreatown.
to
consumer.
I'm going to
invest?
build my Greek town. I'm
all
going to
right.
build
So
my
hold
Africa
on. So
town.
hold
Go
on.
ahead.
Hold
Go
on.
ahead.
1 second.
Go ahead,
You go
MOD.
buy,
1 second. Give me 1 second here.
you go buy
Go ahead.
Sprint.
So you said that you're going to reinvest into these communities, right? So all over the country, you can say there's thousands of Black communities all over America, right? Some of these communities are thriving communities. Some of them have been in existence longer than any of us have been alive and have been thriving today because of the fact that they have been working together to ensure that its survivability, right? So if you were given $50 million right now today by the federal government and to say, here's your reparations, would you take that $50 million and where's the first place you would invest into and what would you do with it? What would you do there?
Well, the rest of them want me to say rims, but I reinvested.
No. Just be serious, Spencer. I'm not. I'm
Okay.
asking a
That is a
legitimate
fucking troll.
question.
Okay.
So
Would you
MOD,
pay for your?
you
Would
know
you
I'm not
offer your
trolling.
employees
You know
health
I'm not
insurance,
trolling.
even though it
right,
comes out of your business
what
bottom
right.
line?
So what would you do with if they gave you $50 million today?
Hmm.
Where would you invest it and what would?
Well, I would invest some of it in the stock market. Okay.
But
And
that's
then
their
Hold
system.
on,
no,
That's
Pinky.
white
Hold on,
people.
hold on.
I'm
Go
not trying
ahead.
to.
Go
I'm
ahead.
not trying. I'm not trying to tear down the system. I just want to participate in the system like every other group, right?
Okay,
That's
so
only
wait a
fair.
minute, Spencer.
And I would
You
invest.
just
Go ahead.
said no. You just said that you wanted to get reparations so you can invest it back into the community.
Right. Right.
And the first thing you said was the stock market. $50 million in the stock market.
No. You asked me. I was going to divvy it up. Some of it in the stock market.
Okay.
Some of it in creating a business. And if every one of us get $50 million, remember
No,
you
I'm
and I
talking
talking
about
about the
just you. I'm not because you don't know what anybody else is gonna do with their money. They can move out and go to Morocco. What would you do with that money?
invested. That's the big
Okay.
word. Invested.
So
Yeah.
into the stock market, you would develop a business in the Black community specifically.
Can I pick up this ball? Can I pick up this ball real quick?
I got you,
No,
Tony.
can you wait?
But why haven't you so far, though?
Go ahead.
How do you
All
know
right,
I haven't?
so Spencer, your business, what is it going to be?
I don't know.
You don't know. Okay, so let's just say you
You
got
don't even
some
have
kind
a
of whatever
plan.
business. Are you going to be bonded?
I know you.
I know you're not going on
Are you
somatic.
going to have business insurance?
No, I'm
Are
not
you
going
going
to
to be
have.
Are you going to be a
No,
responsible business
no.
owner?
And I'm
Your
gonna
business.
get a fleet of lawyers
We're
to
gonna treat
protect
like a PPP
myself
loan.
and
Are
my
you going to
business
give your people? Are you going
from
to
you
give your
trying to
employees
tear it
health
down.
insurance?
From
Are
you
you going to
trying
take
to
care
We're
of
gonna
them?
treat like a
No,
PPP
I'm not.
loan.
Are you going to
It,
spend your money to take
no,
care
they
of your
work.
employees?
No,
So,
they're gonna work for Wendy's. I'm gonna buy
but
Wendy's
listen,
and let them work the minimum
this is
wage.
what I wanted to see where we get to a point where we can actually show him that he don't have any money marketing skills. Okay, so it just because at the end of the
That's
day,
funny.
you
You
can
almost buy
give
your Thomas Sowell
people.
book, Spencer.
So
Let you
Listen,
you
learn
saying I don't have any
I'm not gonna.
financial
I don't
literacy?
want to
I've
disrespect
heard
you
that
at
before.
all.
put you in the
You can
I
do
don't
economic
want to
school.
disrespect.
That's okay.
I don't want to disrespect you. I'm just trying to get you to
Hey,
understand that
disrespect away. I
every
cannot understand
system
anything from you.
that is created Every system that has created, every system that's been created has been created by a white man. So you're going to go take your money that you got for your blackness and go spend it with a white man. You understand that?
Well, even
No,
that
you're
too,
not.
I
You're
wanted to
not.
point out that I
You're
don't
not
think you'll
thinking
be
clearly.
responsible, dude. Like, I'll tell you what, I used to think exactly like you until I became an owner of my own semi truck, right? I used to think I could just make money and this damn thing was a straight up ATM machine. The owning a business was like an ATM machine. You just turn that shit on and money comes out. Fuck no, it does not work that way. I had to get insurance, which costs like two grand. I had to pay for fuel, which is like $1,500 to $2,000 a week. I had to get bonded. I had to get insurance, right? This and that. At any given month, right, I'm spending about like $16,000 in operating and business expenses. That's before I see any profit. That's before taxes, right? And that's just myself. I own my own damn truck. Can you imagine owning a fleet of this shit? What it would be like to pay for health insurance for everyone else? So
Give
that's
me
what.
the opportunity. Will give me the
Right.
opportunity to go.
But see, that's what I'm trying to say. That's what makes you a beta male.
You have the
That makes you
opportunity.
such a beta male.
I bet I
That
did.
you to ask a man, to give you something. Like, what is your pride?
And you know what caused
What is
that?
your
Integration. Listen, integration caused we got to go to white people and beg for resources. You're right. You're correct. And it's another man.
You don't have to.
Well, I might as well leave the country. If I don't beg, I don't eat.
This is what I have so hold on. This is what I have an issue with what you said. So in operating, you said that you wanted to invest in the stock market, which number one is pretty volatile. And if you have absolutely no means or understanding beginning, so if hopefully I would hope that you have the mindset that if it ever came to be that you would prepare yourself now and actually learn investments, and hopefully you understand how diversifying your portfolio works, what sorts of investments you work in. You actually watch the stocks, right? Because this is what, since you want to, like white people, you want to be like the hat people. That's what they do. They watch the stocks and things like that, right? So you need to absolutely learn that business as well, because you're also going to lose money. So if you're not prepared to lose money as well, a shit ton of money, you don't want to invest in the stock market. And then also second to that, you also
But
stated
I want to go through those growing pains like white folks.
Hold on. You want to go through those growing pains. Be quiet for a minute. Now, you also want to run a business, right? And what Tony was saying was absolutely true. You want to open a business, but you also, hopefully you're studying on how to run a business, what type of business you want to run, and you're making yourself financially understanding of how that works and the tax laws, right? Making sure you understand all that, right? The tax laws was instituted by the white people, right? All right. And then third to that, you said that you wanted to take your money and put it into the black community, but you never stated what exactly you wanted the black community to do with that money. So before you get interrupted, and please nobody interrupt him, can you please tell me, if you were to take, let's just say you did it, you split it, 3 ways, and let's say you took $15 million to invest into a black community, what particular black community would you invest into, and what would you do?
Okay. The black community, this is what I believe. I don't know if you guys might believe something different. It's not a geographical place. Hold on.
Please don't tell me he a teacher with that mindset.
It's not a geographical place. It's people. Because you don't have buildings or nothing like that.
Okay, so when you would take that, so if it's not a geographical location, what would you do with the $15 million to better black people? $15 million.
What you guys always say, education. And
No. I'm not. Don't talk about. Listen, I do not.
What do you want me to say?
Listen, I do not want to hear about what other people would do. I'm talking about you specifically, nobody else. You're in a room by yourself. With $15 million, and you said, I'm going to invest this into the black community. What does that look like?
I would get my people educated in every discipline that there is, so they can come out as lawyers, doctors, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, even people learning financial literacy.
Yeah, I would do all that.
So let's take this $15 million because Pinky, what did it cost us? About what, $500,000 to go to law school? Just about.
I'm still paying loans off, so
Yeah, I'm saying yeah.
keep piling up. That's not.
All right.
That's
Yeah. So let's see how much. Let's do a calculation real quick. So we take calculator because nowadays it's pretty expensive. It cost me. My student loans were shit for all 4 of my degrees. Let's do about. Because I'm still paying interest and shit on them. So
and what does this have to do with
we'll say the average. Let's just say they went straight to they got their bachelor's degree and now they want to go to law school. So we'll say approximately 100,000 because that's usually with all the books and all that other shit. We'll just say 100,000, right? So we'll take 15. I'm gonna take 15 million because math is racist, right? Hold on, let me zero this out. So we're going to take 15 million. Hold on.
Like yourself.
Well, I have 4. So.
Oh, right.
And can I ask you a question? Is these going to be random people, African American people, or are these going to be people in your family?
So you would roughly to send with $15 million, if you just wanted to send them to law school, you could send 150 Black people to law school.
And he's going to, if they're not people in his family, he's going to get about 60 or 70 people that's going to pay tribute to him because the rest are going to run. It's just us.
Yeah, that's not a lot of money. So 150 Black people to go to law school. So we have 150, and that's actually supposing that they would actually finish and qualify.
And graduate.
All right.
And graduate. All right. So how much is it on average? I think it costs about almost the same to do with going to medical school, if not more. Moongoon, do you know? Is it about the same, about $100,000?
To start.
To start, right? So I would say it's about $250,000 today in today's age. Let's just go 250. Hold on, because I'm typing this on my computer. So 15 million. This is fun. We're doing math.
Why wouldn't you invest in trade schools?
Right. So this is why I like numbers. Numbers know no color.
Right.
Numbers are fair. That's why I
you
love
want to help
numbers.
the Black community significantly, invest in real estate.
You'd be able to send 6 people to medical school, bro. Six people. So I'm just gonna say this. I'm gonna make sure I calculate. Yep, 250,000. So I'm just gonna say this, right? I don't think that there's any amount of money that you can actually put a number on what would be sufficient enough to help people, right? Because again, you could look, I'm going to give 6 Black folks $250,000 for them to make it through medical school. And then, they get a boost up in life and then they go to medical school, become a doctor, and make their money, right? Because we do want more of these people. We do want more, right? But that's only 6 people. And then I could guarantee you maybe 2 or 3 of them would actually be able to make it through, right? Because some people might just give up and be like, fuck it, I'm just going to take the money and run.
Oh, yeah, only 5 to 10% actually wind up going through the entire process and graduating.
Right. So this is why I use Nipsey Hussle as an example, because his example was great. He made a lot of money off of the rap game, and then he turned around and bought up land, commercial properties that he could segment, right, and department, right? And so basically, he also looked for other people who were hungry for opportunity. He said, "You want to be?" He's like, "You a business owner? You want to be a business?" And he rented out his spaces that he owned the commercial property to other Black folks. Right, and he did that, and these were people that wanted to build themselves up, that wanted to run a business. Running a business ain't fucking easy, man. So these were other people that wanted to work hard. So he built up his, and as he was collecting rent from them, he was buying more commercial real estate and more. He was expanding and helping his people at the same damn time.
Quick question though. Didn't what's his name? Muscle something or other, didn't he go over statistics about people who graduate and people who drop out of college, was like med school or something?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Only like 5 to 10% actually wind up finishing.
Yeah, and secondly, I mean, I only know Nipsey Hussle only by name. I never listened to his music or anything like that. But wasn't he an independent artist, like self-released?
Yeah.
Yes.
I believe
Yeah.
so.
Dude, man, Nipsey was
people
the
like that
bee's
are
knees,
smarter
man.
with their money.
Yeah, this dude was fucking awesome, man. I love Nipsey.
But to MOD's point, right? When you look at the amount of lottery winners who wind up just going absolute fucking belly under, it goes back to the age-old mantra, right? You can give a man a fish and feed him for a day, or you can teach him to fish and feed him for a lifetime. Giving someone money does not imply that they're just going to automatically be successful.
That's why
there has.
Go ahead. I was gonna say that's why I hate the whole analogy like generational wealth, because most generations screw that up because they don't keep up on financial literacy and all that. If you don't know how to use your money, you're gonna go broke. It doesn't matter how much money somebody gives you; it's just gonna take you longer to go broke.
So I'm going to say this to you, Spencer. On average, the cost of 1 acre of land in America is around $17,500, and you can actually negotiate price of land. You could buy an acre for about $1,000 in some places. But imagine if you bought 1,000 acres. You know how much money that is? That's $175,000. You just bought 1,000 acres. 1,000 acres. That means 1,000 Black people can get 1 acre of land each, right? Right?
Yep.
Now imagine if you attach another zero onto that. Now you're only at, hold on, let me see. 17,000 times, hold on, see, 17K. So 17,500.
Right.
Times.
How much you want to bet he never thought about this stuff before, right? You can't just have money and everything.
It's just for them people that want to talk and be heard.
Right.
1.75 million. So now you're at less than 1% of the money. You spent you bought 10,000 acres. 10,000 acres of land at 1.75 million. 10,000 acres. Now, what you've effectively done is you've bought 10,000 Black people 1 acre of land. That appreciates value. So this is what I'm saying. Like it's hugely and widely important that if you're gonna look forward to having some sort of reparations, or you're gonna have some sort of money, then if you want to talk about something that has power, every single time an instance in America, just like Pinky brought up Sarah Rector, what made people of color rich at that time? Land.
Yep.
I believe the largest landowner in Tennessee is a Black woman.
All right. And just to simp from Nipsey again, because I'll fucking do this all damn day. You look at one of the old interviews of Nipsey, right? When he made it big, or he like had a good hit on him, there's an interview of him. You can look up the interview. He's on video saying this.
He's like 15 years old.
Right. He's so young, right? He looks like a little freaking kid. And they're like, "Oh, what are you gonna do, man? You're doing pretty well. Your song did pretty well." He's like, "How come you ain't?" And they asked him. The interviewer asked him because he didn't have no chains on. He had no diamonds in his grill. He didn't do none of that shit. He was just a dude in a fucking t-shirt. And they asked him like, "Oh, what are you gonna do?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, you see, I'm not really into all that chains and stuff like. He's like, "I'm into owning real estate and blah blah blah." That was the answer that he fucking gave, man. He was
said
already
them chains and all that jewelry depreciate, but that real estate is always gonna make me money.
Exactly.
So really quick, Wizard, in the comments, I never said that you can get 10K acres for 175. What I was talking about is $15 million. I was asking Spencer a hypothetical, like if he was to gain $50 million in reparations, and he spent the other two things he said was the stock market and also opening in a business. And I said, okay, let's say you took $15 million, and what would you do? He said he wanted to make doctors and lawyers, and I showed that you could, with the amount of money that he had, he would only be able to help less than 50 people, right? Or less than 200 people max, right? So what I'm saying is if you took that same $15 million and bought 1 acre of land for each Black American, you could have 10,000 Black Americans, which is significant. And then the number goes there. You add another zero. Now you're kind of venturing into or if you add another number to it, you could approximately make up a large amount of Black people that you can actually help if you bought 1 acre of land. 1 acre of land. So what I'm saying is, effectively, like, we have to start thinking outside of the box. Would it be nice that if you had $50 million, right, and you could do that? So you have to also ask yourself, why aren't rich Black people taking that money and doing exactly what I said? Why are they not doing that?
They are. You just don't know. They don't live.
Okay. Well, shit. Let's look it up. Can you tell me the name of a person that
That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing about African American people. And it's just like when they was like, oh yeah, we need to elect a Black official. These Black people don't like y'all.
You know, some of the worst customers for Black-owned businesses are Black people.
Yeah.
Because they want a discount.
Give a 2 cents. They would step on y'all to get to what they need to get at in life.
Exactly, and back in the day, again, you know, going back to civil rights and everything like that, you know, when Black people let white liberals and Democrats come in and change their mindset as far as, instead of going to trade school and stuff like that and learning a trade that you'll have for life, you know, we'll go and put emphasis on getting an education, you know, getting a college education and getting in debt and things like that, and it's ridiculous. They literally sold out.
And who did that to them? Democrats. And what they did? What they sent all the trades to? Mexico.
So
now they're saying we need Mexicans. We need Mexicans. They do all the job. Y'all used to do it.
You don't think that? You don't think they control society and they pick and choose winners and losers?
Who?
White society. You don't think they pick and choose winners and losers?
Dude, what the hell is white society? What is that?
You said something like that, okay, but not the average hanky-danky.
So Spencer, the black boule, those are Black gatekeepers. Those are the Black gatekeepers. Those are the Al Sharptons, the Jesse Jacksons, the Obamas,
the Oprahs.
I don't believe in them either. I don't know why y'all can't try to put
them.
They
exist. What do you mean you don't believe them? They exist. They exist.
They sold us out. Okay, in short.
They didn't sell you out. They advanced themselves like you should advance.
And they made sure that you don't advance.
So does anybody know what happened to the Black Georgia families that bought in 2020? They bought 100 acres in Georgia. Spencer, do you know what happened?
They ended up selling it?
They all get me in my group.
Nope. They actually are still there's the project's still making process. They shared it. This was just this year. This was updated this year. They're sharing in the past couple months plans for tiny house build on the land, and also digital citizenship. They're developing agricultural pursuits. They've got stuff coming down the pipeline.
They're building.
Freedom Georgia Initiative. And they wanted to buy, their vision was to resource-rich 502 acres of land outside of Toomsboro, Georgia, for the establishment of innovative community for environmentally sustainable living, health and wellness, agriculture and economic development, arts and culture for generations to come. And they also have a website. I think this is, not only was it a bold and innovative, I get it. They sick of y'all shit. Fuck that.
And the only thing that would take that back, if they don't create jobs.
Hey, Spencer, I hope you're taking notes, bro, man. I hope you're taking notes.
It's a really beautiful idea, but if you have to have jobs, you can't create land and houses in a nowhere area.
I love
it.
And
then you have to travel back 2 and 3 hours for your work.
MOD, you said you're like 40 something, 41, 42, right?
No, I'm 38.
Oh, my bad. You listened to Killer Mike before?
I've heard of him, but no.
So he did the exact same thing, and he did it as a social experiment. He did the exact same thing